Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a recent statement brought to us by Ninjago series head writer Kevin Burke over on Blue Sky that, all things considered, kind of blew my mind the more that I thought about it. This involves the source dragons, the elemental powers of the current elemental masters, and the idea that the source dragons at any given time can choose to turn off everybody's elemental power. I would like to talk about that idea more so here and the potential for how it might appear in Dragons Rising down the line. Where exactly does this idea come from though? Well, someone recently asked a question to Ninjago series head writer Kevin Burke over on Blue Sky that said the following. We know that the source dragons give elemental powers, so can they choose who to give it to, and can they change it? If so, why didn't they remove it from Cinder? To which Kevin Burke replies, source dragons cannot choose to give or take powers from individuals, but sharing their powers with all mortals or no mortals is their choice. Interesting. So obviously the question was asked, how come the source dragons just did not remove Cinder's power if he was working for Lord Ras? It's because they can't. Apparently they can't choose to take powers individually from elemental masters. However, source dragons can choose to share their powers either with all mortals or no mortals. To me, that suggests that elemental powers are kind of an all or nothing kind of deal from the source dragons. Either all elemental masters get their powers or none of them do. So theoretically speaking, the source dragons could totally choose to just stop sharing their powers with mortals and in turn shut off everyone's elemental power collectively. Every elemental master could totally be stripped of their powers at any given time if the source dragons choose to do that. At least that's what I'm understanding from Kevin Burke's statement here. Could totally be misunderstanding what he's saying, but again, to me, it kind of sounds like an all or nothing thing. Either the source dragons let elemental masters have elemental powers, or they don't. They can't pick and choose. So that got me thinking here. What if at some point in Dragons Rising's future we see just this massive blackout of elemental masters being stripped of their powers, either because the source dragons again chose to do so, or something happened to the source dragons. Maybe if the source dragons are compromised, somehow the elemental powers associated with the source dragons end up fading away. For example, maybe that's what happened with the Balance source dragon. It's hard to say, but I do wonder again if we could see a storyline later on in Dragons Rising where the source dragons just decide that mortals are not worthy of their elemental powers and choose to shut off everyone's powers collectively, again leading to this massive elemental blackout. It would be rather interesting to see how everyone reacts to that. All of the elemental masters could come together, and I imagine it would be the fault of one elemental master. Maybe one master could ruin it for literally everyone. Who exactly that would be? It's hard to say. It could be Lloyd. Maybe Lloyd abuses the trust of the source dragons somehow. It could be Lord Ras if he turns out to be an elemental master, which again, there are a lot of rumors pointing to that being the case. Anything could happen, like I said. I just find it fascinating that apparently the source dragons are able to do that now. They can just shut off everyone's elemental powers at will if they choose to. Leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments, though. It's always fun to learn more about source dragon lore and what they can and cannot do. What exactly do you think will come from this? Do you think we will see a storyline later on in Dragons Rising where the source dragons turn off everyone's powers? Do you think that'll happen? Why or why not? And how do you feel about the source dragons apparently having that ability? Leave all of your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.